So please, sir, all the teachers who have joined online us, I request them all to to keep their mics mute.
The is getting visible or not?
Sir, let me see. No, sir. No, no, you are not visible. So I am starting it. I welcome all the teachers and participants joining us online and offline on behalf of DITE and on behalf of myself also. Today we have Dr. Vimal Kishore, lecturer in DITE Bhimtal, who has a vast experience of pedagogy of English, a master's in English, and did his PhD in English literature. He is working for many years in this field, and
So,
welcome, sir. Now you are visible. Now you are visible, sir. So,
yeah.
just a minute, sir.
Now I have been trying to connect through my mobile.
Okay, sir. Okay. Dr. Dr. Vimal Kishore has a keen interest in teaching English and experimenting to make the English teaching and learning enjoyable. He is working in this field from last many years, and personally I feel he is the correct person for interacting with the teachers. So I asked him to conduct a session online to benefit the teachers of the districts. So I welcome him and handing over the session to him to conduct the session. So over to Dr. Vimal Kishore. Sir, please start your session, sir. Sir, you are muted. Sir, sound is not coming.
Sir, am I audible now?
Now you are audible. Now you are audible.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mishra sir. Thank you so much. So,
sir, today we have Dr. Hemu also.
Yeah, I just got a call from Hemu sir, na?
Okay, yes, he is here.
So, shall I start the session?
Okay, sir, please.
Okay. Honorable Principal Sir DITE Barkot Uttarkashi, or Honorable Coordinator of this workshop, Mr. Dr.Shakti Dhar Mishra sir, Honorable Hemu Bish sir, who is a true resource person and who has always been a mentor, not only for me, but also for all the English lecturers serving in all the DITEs of Uttarakhand, and all the very special participants of this workshop. So I really feel privileged and I really feel very, very fortunate to get an opportunity to interact with very dynamic and very efficient teachers of Uttarkashi district. I again feel very fortunate in a way because I started my career as a lecturer in English from one of the inter colleges of Uttarkashi district. It was GIC Dhautri. In 2005, I got my posting in GIC Dhautri, and I served there for almost a year, and then I got selected for DITE Bageshwar. So this is really a matter of immense pleasure and really a matter of great fortune for me that I am getting chance to talk with and to discuss a few things with the teachers of Uttarkashi district. So I think right now I am getting audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
So actually I had developed a PPT and I wanted to share my things with the help of this PPT. The participants they might get, you know, so they are language. But it is not working properly. So simply presenting out a few things from PPT and be the things. Okay. So you know, it is very very important. Uh, Starting with the lines of W.B. Yeats, William Butler Yeats. So he has once said, "Education is not just filling of a pail, but lightning of fire." Education is not just filling of a pail, but lightning of fire. So it means, as a teacher, as a teacher of English, or as a teacher of different subjects, our responsibility or our accountability or our jurisdiction is not only to teach different subjects, but most important thing is creating the interest of learners towards those subjects. If I am a teacher of English, so it becomes my paramount responsibility that I should teach in such a nice way, in such an enjoyable way, that students they get motivated, they get inspired, and they get inclination towards English language. So these are few lines quoted by, which I have quoted from WB Yeats. So there is a there are different kind of songs, different kind of poems which are very helpful to create the interest of learners towards English language. Like one of the very popular rhymes is, which is based on action verb, O moon. So starting or singing a few lines. So all the participants they are expected to do the same, whatever I have been doing. O moon. You will also speak the same way. O moon, come, come, come. Eat with me, drink with me, eat with me, drink with me, and dance with me. O moon, come, come, come. Brush with me, come with me, brush with me, come with me, and dance with me. O moon, come, come, come. Clap with me, run with me, clap with me, run with me, and dance with me. O moon, come, come, come. Walk with me, laugh with me, ha 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 ha. Walk with me, laugh with me, and dance with me. O moon, come, come, come. Read with me, write with me, read with me, write with me, and dance with me, and dance with me, and dance with me. So this is one of the rhymes. So recitation of such kind of rhymes, it also creates interest of learner towards English language. So uh, I wanted to start with this. Then I have got prayers in English. So we will be discussing, we will be singing those prayers also. So starting with my first slide, and the first slide is our valuable treasure. Has languages. Each language is our language and the language of all of us. In this context, sentiments such as my language, your language, or indigenous language, foreign language are extremely defective. Only this much can be said, that we have many languages, but I can express myself in one or more than one among. Why I have used this slide, and what actually I want to say is, my context is, there are various languages around the globe. If we talk about in an Indian context, so 1,652 languages they exist in India. 1652 भाषाएं जो है भारतवर्ष में बोली जाती हैं. 1,652 languages, and one of such languages English language. Earlier it had got colonial impact. पहले इसको हम एक foreign language के रूप में देखते थे, but today it doesn't have colonial impact and it has become language of India. It has become indigenous language now. So we should not fight, for language. It is very important that students, they should learn all the languages, and teachers, first of all, they should promote the teaching of all the languages. It is very, very important because all the language, so basically, languages है जो भाषा है यही हमारा खजाना है. So it is very important, and these days we talk about multilingualism. तो multilingualism का अगर हम समझें, वो यही है कि respecting the linguistic dignity of child. Respecting the linguistic dignity of child. जो language हम बच्चे को पढ़ाना चाहते हैं, we should connect that language to the language of the child. What actually language is? So if I ask you, what is language? Or when Mishra ji actually he called me up, so he wanted me to take a session on spoken English, basically communicative part of language. So we know there are 4 skills of language: listening, then
LSRW.
yes, then reading and writing, LSRW. These are the 4 skills of language: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And Mishra ji specifically he emphasized कि specifically I have to take a session on communicative English. तो इस पर हम लोगों का ज्यादा फोकस रहेगा listening का. But this communicative part, listening, speaking, so basically all the 4-fold skills of language, they are intermingled, they are interrelated. माने अगर हम speaking की बात कर रहे हैं तो listening is input and the output of speaking. So without input, output is not possible. So listening is within the periphery of speaking skill. Listening किसी के अंदर है, तो I have expected अच्छा मैं एक कोशिश करता हूँ कि लेकिन ये डिस्प्ले नहीं हो पाएगी पीपीटी ना, चलिए कोई बात नहीं. So I have taken a definition कि what actually language is. So language basically is taken from a Latin word. एक Latin word है lingua, LINGUA, lingua. Lingua means this tongue. So in Latin it is called lingua. Anything that is produced with the help of tongue is called language. मेरी बात आप सब तक पहुंच रही है?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, तो anything which is produced with the help of tongue is called language. तो इसीलिए इसको हमने बोला है कि language is a derivation from the word lingua. So lingua means anything that is produced with the help of tongue. So जब हम इसकी बात करते हैं, when we talk about anything, so scholars they have difference of opinion. Some people say what we speak is language. लेकिन जो modern linguist है, they say कि language has 2 parts, verbal, what we call it oral and written. Oral भी है और इसका written भी है. लेकिन जो पुराने linguist हैं, they believe कि what we speak is language. And there are various languages around the globe which exist only in the form of speech. Which exist only in the form of speaking. दुनिया के अंदर कई सारी भाषाएं आज ऐसी हैं अभी भी जो कि सिर्फ स्पीच के रूप में है, बोलने के रूप में है, और इसीलिए लगता भी है कि लैंग्वेज इज व्हाट वी स्पीक. इफ आई आस्क यू दिस क्वेश्चन, अगर मैं आप सभी से ये प्रश्न करूं कि if you are able to read गढ़वाली लैंग्वेज और कुमाऊनी लैंग्वेज, and if you are able to write गढ़वाली और कुमाऊनी लैंग्वेज as well, but you are not able to speak it, so can you proclaim it or can you say it with conviction कि I know this language? मैं जैसे कई लोग बोलते हैं कि हमें इंग्लिश नहीं आती, हम इंग्लिश नहीं जानते हैं, तो मैं पूछता हूँ कि भाई इंग्लिश नहीं जानते माने क्या नहीं जानते? दे आर एबल टू रीड इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज, they are able to write English language, they are able to understand language, but they are not able to communicate. They are able to speak this language. So that's why ऐसा जरूरी नहीं, लेकिन फिर भी बोलते हैं कि स्पीच और स्पीकिंग it is given dominance, it is given priority over the rest of the. ये सेशन वन वे तो नहीं हो जा रहा है, बोरिंग तो नहीं हो जा रहा है कि सिर्फ मैं बोलने
नहीं
पे
सर,
समझ भी रही ना? कोई भी दो पार्टिसिपेंट बोल दीजिए। मेरी बात आप तक पहुंच रही है? एम आई ऑडिबल? हमने कहा बात पहुंच रही है। मैं कहना चाह रहा हूं all the four skills are important, they are significant, लेकिन मेरा प्रश्न ये है कि which is the most important skill? Which is the most important skill? The most important skill is speaking. Why it is speaking? मैं ये नहीं कहूंगा all the skills are important, but most important is speaking, because if you are not able to, anybody wants to say anything? So what my point is, all the skills are important, but if we are not able to use language for our day-to-day communication, तो तब लगता है कि no, I don't know this language. If I don't know how to communicate in Gadwali language or how to communicate in Kumaoni language, तो मेरा mindset क्या बन जाएगा कि नहीं भाई, I don't know this language. The same इसीलिए तो लैंग्वेज कौन था ये है?
Rest of the participants, please, Vimal sir, I'm stopping you for a while. Please, rest of the teachers, whosoever has got connected, keep your videos and audio off. Only in the condition when you want to ask, you have a query, then only you just switch on your mics and videos. Sorry, thank you. Continue, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So, what is language? What is the definition? By Henry Sweet, language is the expression of ideas by means of which speech sounds combined into words. Words are combined into sentences. This combination answering to that of ideas into thoughts. What is the meaning of this definition? And why I have extracted this particular definition? So basically, in any language, we have got a sound system and we have got a system of symbols. In terms of communication, the sound system is very, very important. When we talk about English language, in English language, we have got 26 letters, but we have got 44 sounds. The same letter is giving different sounds many a times, but those sounds are not language. When those sounds are combined in the form of meaningful words, so that is also kind of partial language. That is not a complete language. And words are combined in the form of sentences. Those sentences, they are also not language. If I ask you, what is your name? This is a sentence. And you are saying, good morning. So these are two different sentences, but there is no corresponding relationship between two sentences. So sounds are united into words, words are united into sentences, and the combination of sentences give answers to our questions. So then it becomes complete language. Then it serves the purpose of language. and communication is the most important, because 60 to 70% part of language or function of language is in the form of communication. Apart from communication, there are various functions as well. ऐसा नहीं है कि सिर्फ यही अपने आप में एकमात्र फंक्शन है लैंग्वेज का, कम्युनिकेशन. कम्युनिकेशन के अलावा भी बहुत सारे फंक्शंस होते हैं, लाइक फैटिक फंक्शन ऑफ लैंग्वेज और सोशेबल फंक्शन ऑफ लैंग्वेज. वी ग्रीट ईच अदर, गुड मॉर्निंग, गुड इवनिंग. So this is not basically communication. This is called sociable function of language. So many a times, we ask riddles, we ask some puzzles. So this is not communication, but this is also one of the functions of language. And what is that function? That is called entertaining function of language. इसके अलावा अगर हम बात करें तो sometimes we are able to read Bhagavad Gita, we are able to read the plays of Shakespeare, although they were written in 16th or 17th century, but in 21st century we are able to read those plays because we have preserved those plays in the form of writing. This is called recording function of language. लेकिन क्या होता है कि 60 to 70% we use language for the sake of communication. इसलिए communication becomes very, very important, and it becomes very important कि how we can develop our communicative skills. Then when communication is very, very important, so why we guys are not able to communicate in English language? Some of you can say yes, we can communicate. Some of you can say, no, I don't feel myself competent and confident to communicate in English language. So there may be various reasons. तो इसका आंसर हमें यहाँ मिलेगा. There are two definitions. One definition of language is given by Randolph, Randolph, Randolph. And Randolph has said, language is the dress of thought. Language is the dress of thought. And then Samuel Johnson, he added, language is the dress of thought, and in matter of dress, we go according to fashion and not conventions. Language is the dress of thought. As human beings, they wear different kind of attire, different kind of garments. And why do they wear? Because they look attractive, they look beautiful. In the same way, language makes our ideas, makes our thoughts, or present our thoughts in a decorative manner, in a beautiful manner. But in terms of dress, we go according to fashion and not according to conventions. So there is a very popular question ki whether what is the role of grammar? What is the role of grammar in teaching of language? So if I ask you, ke how did you learn your mother tongue, or how did you learn Hindi language? You learned it with the help of grammar or without grammar? So you guys learned Hindi language with the help of grammar first. First you learned grammar, then you learned language. Yes, Rupa ma'am has given the answer कि no. कि yes, it means we didn't learn Hindi language with the help of grammar. We learned language first, and then comes the role of grammar to refine the language. But in terms of English, what happens? Whenever we try out the things, so we always try to perceive things what we call it in the canvas of, or in the spectrum of grammar. Okay, it means we have got this notion, we have developed this notion that without grammar we cannot speak English language, and that those rules of grammar, because they don't they become obstacle, they become shackles when we try to speak out things. Am I right or not? जब भी बोलने की कोशिश करते हैं तो whether it should be present indefinite or past indefinite, है ना, तो इस तरह के rules जो हैं ये आ जाते हैं आड़े. So because of these rules, we don't feel ourselves competent. इसीलिए NCF 2005 says कि drill kills the language. Drill kills the language. It means too much emphasis or too much stress on the rules of grammar. They kill the flavor of smooth or spontaneity of language. So it happens. So then what should we do? If we want to learn or if we want to develop good communicative skills, so whether we should completely discard the rules of grammar? No, I'm not saying this. We cannot outrightly reject the importance of grammar. Grammar is there, but let the child attain fluency first. There are two important issues. One is fluency and another one is accuracy. Fluency and accuracy. So the role of fluency comes first. Let the child obtain fluency first. Then comes the role of accuracy. So if the child is trying out things, if he is trying to respond the questions asked by teacher in classroom in English language, and we are completely, too much, what we call it, adhere or too much specific towards rules of grammar कि नहीं बिल्कुल grammar के हिसाब से ही आपको बोलना है, तो what happens? The child, he gets discouraged. He doesn't speak out the things. And not only child, even the adults, the grown-ups, all of us. So हमारे यहाँ एक बहुत बड़ी problem क्या है कि if I am not able to speak out in English language, so what I will be doing, how I will be gratifying or satisfying myself, कि if somebody is trying to speak, so I would be simply trying to find out the grammatical faults in him. Okay, what are the different grammatical faults he has been committing while speaking? So just by pointing out the mistakes, I feel myself gratified. Okay, yes, I am not able to speak, but he is also not able to speak. So it means neither I will speak nor let you speak. It happens. So this kind of leg pulling, it will take us nowhere. So ये जो होता है ना कि so somebody has raised hand. I think Rupa ma'am or so whether you want to ask something?
She is not asking anything.
Actually, she has raised hand.
It happens.
Okay.
Sometimes it happens.
So I think my point is very loud, clear to each and every one of you. Na? Am I getting audible? And am I getting understandable?
Yes, sir. You are audible and understandable.
Okay. So these are two different issues. One is fluency and another one is accuracy. So let the child attain fluency first, and then he will learn grammar to refine his language. यही हम लोगों को follow करना चाहिए. The same procedure we have adopted while learning our mother tongue. The same procedure which we have adopted in learning of Hindi language. We should try to adopt the same procedure in the teaching of English language. So basically students have got this kind of, not only students, all of us, we have got this kind of privilege from our surrounding, that we have got enough opportunity to listen and to speak first language or Hindi language in our close vicinity. हम अपनी गढ़वाली भाषा की बात करें, कुमाऊनी भाषा की बात करें और हिंदी भाषा की बात करें, तो students, they have got ample exposure of these in their close vicinity or in their close surrounding. But in terms of English, students, they don't get this kind of opportunity. So school and classroom is the only place where students, they are getting opportunity to listen English language. हालांकि आजकल ये बात नहीं कही जा सकती, because not only teacher, टीचर इज नॉट द ओनली रिसोर्स. आजकल स्टूडेंट्स अगर कहीं पर ऐसा है कि स्टूडेंट्स और चिल्ड्रन दे हैव गॉट टीवी, दे हैव गॉट देयर मोबाइल, तो थ्रू यूट्यूब दे हैव बीन learning, they have been listening so many things, वहां से भी सीख सकते हैं. लेकिन the kind of students coming to our schools, the kind of socio-economic background they have, तो उसमें ये बहुत important रहता है कि they are completely depend on their school and they are completely dependent on their teachers. So it is ultimately the role, it shifts, or the responsibility shifts only to the shoulders of teachers, because if teachers they are not speaking English language in classroom, so students they will not be getting any exposure. So it is important that teachers they should speak. तो ये हमने एक definition देखी, language is the dress of thought and in matter of dress we go according to fashion and not convention. Telling you a small story. A story is like this. Since English language is a language of fashion, so the story is like this कि once Queen Victoria, so she visited France, perhaps France or Germany. So what happened कि there she had some sore, she had some trouble in her thigh. So what happened? She was not able to walk properly. So when she came back to England, so she was not able to walk properly. So what happened? The elite, the women of elite class, they thought that probably their queen has learned some new fashion of walking in Germany or France. So what happened? They also followed their queen. And they also started walking the same manner, in the same way, out of fashion. After a couple of days, the queen was completely recovered from that sore, from that wound. So what happened? She started walking properly. So the women of elite class, they developed this notion that probably that fashion has become outdated now. That fashion has become obsolete. So they also started walking normally. Same is applicable towards language and especially English language. The English language is the language of fashion. Earlier, we were following the British pattern of English. These days, we follow the American pattern. This is called a matter of fashion. So that's why Samuel Johnson said, language is the dress of thought, and in matter of dress, we go according to fashion. There are many rules and regulations, but there are many exceptions as well. बहुत सारे rules हैं इंग्लिश लिखते समय, इंग्लिश बोलते समय, लेकिन हम ये भी देखते हैं कि बहुत सारे exceptions भी हैं. जैसे हम लोग बात करते हैं rules of grammar की, कि there is the two words, कि none and neither. So according to the classical method of language teaching or British pattern, कि neither is used between two and none is used between more than two. या between की अगर बात करें, between and some voices are coming. Please mute yourself. So like between and among. So according to the British pattern, between is used between two and among is used for more than two. But these days we may notice the violation of these rules. It is just because of the fashion, American trend in English language. This is called modern trend in English language. The modern trend is in the form of American English. So these are some violations. तो तभी मैंने बात कही, कभी हम लोगों ने ये नहीं सोचा होगा कि when we write an application, और when we want to conclude it तो हम लिखते हैं कि I therefore request you, I therefore request you. तो therefore is a conjunction. और अगर हम रूल्स की बात करते हैं तो I के बाद में वहां पर दो वर्ड्स को जोड़ने के लिए या दो सेंटेंसेस को जोड़ने के लिए हम कनेक्टर्स का यूज करते हैं, कंजंक्शंस का यूज कर सकते हैं. यहां पर तो therefore का यूज हो ही नहीं सकता है. सिंस जैसा महात्मा गांधी जी ने कहा था ना, masses follow the classes. So since the British people, they would use this manner, and this was their native language. तो इसलिए हम without any ifs and buts we simply follow this rule. We simply follow the pattern. तभी मैंने कहा है कि there are many rules, but there are many exceptions as well. तो जब हमें English when we want to communicate, when we want to learn communicative English, it is very very important कि जितने rules apply हो सकते हैं कीजिए. If you are not very particular, very categorical about the application of those rules, you simply speak. You simply try out the things. You simply speak at least 4 or 5 sentences. सिर्फ 5 sentences बोलने से काम नहीं चलेगा कि always speak sentences and always speak words in a particular context. Like when we want to learn communication, so it is very important that we should have good vocabulary. We should have strong vocabulary. And what is a common practice? Okay, for the collection of vocabulary and for making our vocabulary strong, what we do, we simply collect different words. We simply make a pocket dictionary कि हम कई सारे words को collect कर लेते हैं. Collection of words is not very important. If you have hundreds or 400 or 500 words in your pocket dictionary or thousands of words, that is not very very important. Important thing is the usage or application of those words in your day-to-day communication. Because as soon as you collect words, as soon as you recall words, you just memorize words. So rote memorization से कुछ नहीं होता है. You simply memorize different words and after a couple of days you forget all the words. It happens or not? When I was pursuing my 1400 or almost 2000 words from different newspapers and English magazines, and I was never able to use those words in my communication. There are two kinds of vocabulary: active, passive vocabulary. Active vocabulary and passive vocabulary. What is active vocabulary? Can anybody answer? Can anybody answer what is active vocabulary? The words we have been using actively in our communication or in our writing. That is called active vocabulary. The words, yes, very good answer. One ma'am has written that the words we have been using regularly. Yes, that is active vocabulary. The words which we have been using, which we have been applying or deploying in our communication or in our writing. So that is our active vocabulary. And what is passive vocabulary? There are many words. There are many words whenever we encounter or whenever we face or see those words in some text, so we are able to decode the meaning of those words. But actively we have not been using those words in our writing or in our speech. लेकिन उन शब्दों का मीनिंग हमें पता है. मीनिंग ऐसा पता है कि जब किसी टेक्स्ट में वो आते हैं, then we are able to understand, we are able to decode. लेकिन उसके बदले कोई और वर्ड कई बार हम क्या कर रहे होते हैं, यूज कर रहे होते हैं. तो जो वर्ड्स हम एक्टिवली फ्रीक्वेंटली यूज कर रहे हैं, दे आर एक्टिव वोकैबुलरी, एंड द वर्ड्स व्हिच वी हैव नॉट बीन यूजिंग फ्रीक्वेंटली, that is passive vocabulary, although we know the meaning of those words. But when we start using, when we start applying or deploying those words in our speech, in our communication, so what happens कि those words, they become the part of our active vocabulary, from passive vocabulary to active vocabulary. It is very important. And most important thing is, never introduce the words in isolation in your classroom. Never introduce the words in isolation. Always put those words in a particular context. If I say right, right माने सही, हमने बच्चों को बताया right माने सही, and then I am saying this is my right hand, this is my right hand, and we have introduced the word right माने सही. अब right माने सही and this is my right hand, तो क्या ये मेरा सही हाथ है? I have a right to vote. We have right to education. तो context बदल गया. So never introduce the words in isolation. ये बहुत बहुत important है कि words को हमेशा context के साथ में, बच्चों के साथ में introduce कीजिए. So what happens कि when they have been learning the words in a particular context or in a complete context, तो इससे क्या होता है, it accelerates their pace of learning. It really accelerates their pace of learning. इससे उनकी learning बहुत तेजी से हो रही होती है और वो context को समझ रहे होते हैं. That is why these days we talk about situational approach. All the role plays, all the techniques of interview, role play, extempore, these are basically what we call situational approach. The mother tongue or Hindi language, for Hindi language the situations are already available, but for English language what we can do, we can create the real life situation in our classroom for the promotion of English language. We have to create and methodology. We will have to apply, or we will have to adopt some different methodology, from rote memorization to questioning, creativity. उस तरफ बच्चों को लेके चलना पड़ेगा. We know there are 4 aspects of language: semantic aspect, phonetic aspect. ये अपने आप में कुछ jargon से इनमें ज्यादा नहीं पढ़ना है. तो means listening aspect, speaking, जिसको हम स्किल की बात भी करें, listening means semantic aspect, phonetic means speaking which is phone से जुड़ा हुआ है, graphic means reading, and phonic cum graphic means writing. ये भी 4 होते हैं: listening, speaking, reading and writing. Important thing is what, क्या methodology की जो हम बात कर रहे थे कि the natural pattern of language teaching is listening, then comes speaking, then comes reading, then comes writing. इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि पहले हमें 6 महीने सिर्फ लिसनिंग करनी है, फिर 6 महीने हमें सिर्फ स्पीकिंग ही करानी है. ऐसा नहीं. Although these things go simultaneously, but for the students of class 1 and 2, हमें ज्यादा एक्टिविटी किसके लिए होनी चाहिए? लिसनिंग एंड स्पीकिंग के लिए. Another name of listening is understanding. The difference between listening and hearing, there are 2 words. One is hearing and another one is listening. So hearing means lot many voices, lot many sounds they are coming, but they are simply noise. I have nothing to do those sounds or those voices. At present, all of you might have been listening so many voices, but you are focused, you are very particular, you are very attentive, you are very deliberate towards whatever I am speaking. So this is listening from your point of view. This is not hearing. When you are able to take out something out of hearing, तो that becomes listening. जो कुछ मैं आपसे कह रहा हूं, ये इससे अगर कुछ मीनिंग मेकिंग हो रही है, when you are able to take out some meaning, so So listening involves meaning making. Listening involves your attention. Listening involves your deliberate effort. Listening is a painstaking task. Hearing, you may hear the, the honking sound of different vehicles. You may hear the chirping of birds. और कई सारे साउंड्स वहां पे हो सकते हैं, बट यू हैव नथिंग टू डू दोज वर्ड, क्योंकि उससे कोई अर्थ नहीं निकल रहा है, कोई मीनिंग नहीं हो रहा है. सो दैट इज हियरिंग. सो व्हेन यू आर एबल टू टेक आउट समथिंग, देन दैट बिकम्स लिसनिंग. सो लिसनिंग मींस अंडरस्टैंडिंग. लिसनिंग इन्वॉल्व्स अंडरस्टैंडिंग. जैसे मैंने पहले ही कहा कि लिसनिंग इज इनपुट एंड स्पीकिंग इज आउटपुट. द मोर एंड मोर अपॉर्चुनिटी children get to listen a particular language, so basically through listening they receive the things, they receive different ideas, different words, the sentence pattern, वो सब कुछ उनके दिमाग में एक पिक्चर बन रही होती है. इसलिए it is very important, first of all teachers, they should come out with the ideas, they should speak first. The fault lies not with the students, fault always lies with the teachers. मैं भी उसमें इन्वॉल्व हूँ. आई एम ऑल्सो अ पार्ट एंड पार्सल ऑफ व्हेन आई से कि द फॉल्ट लाइज विद टीचर्स. तो व्हेन टीचर्स, क्योंकि देयर आर 4 ways ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन: एक्सपोजर, मोटिवेशन, रिपीटेशन एंड प्रैक्टिस. फर्स्ट वर्ड विच आई हैव यूज्ड इज एक्सपोजर. एक्सपोजर, then comes motivation, then comes repetition, and the last one is practice. So exposure is what? Exposure means more and more opportunity to listen and more opportunity to speak the particular language. So this is called exposure, and it should not be a quantity exposure, it should be a quality exposure. क्वांटिटी क्या है कि ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. इंग्लिश में एक फ्रेज है ना कि वंस इन अ ब्लू मून, कि एक दिन टीचर जो है ही गॉट मोटिवेटेड एंड ऑन वन गुड डे ही स्पोक आउट फ्यू आइडियाज, ही स्पोक आउट फ्यू सेंटेंसेस, और बस उसके बाद में वो टीचर भी भूल गए और बच्चे भी भूल गए. नो, एवरी डे टीचर ही विल हैव टू repeat the things, he will have to speak out his ideas in English language, he will have to ask students different questions, he will have to give different commands in English language. So I am very fortunate, since I have always been the part of Hemu Bisji sir जो है वहां पर है उनकी टीम का. So I have always been a part of his team, and I got wonderful opportunity to prepare different modules and to be a part of different workshops related to English language. तो वहां पर हम लोगों ने इन सब चीजों को देखा कि it is very important कि teachers, they should have good pronunciation first. First of all, if teachers they have faulty pronunciation, students, for them teacher is their role model. So there are 3 types of English: American English, British English, and Indian way of English. Indian way of English की जब हम बात कर रहे होते हैं तो हम देखते हैं कि impact of mother tongue. If you go to South India, तो yem, yen, these sounds. A very good speaker of English from Punjab, he will say satation, sakul. This is impact of mother tongue. In the same way, all the people living in uphills, so sir and sure, I want to shit here or I want to sit here. अब complete मतलब एक अर्थ का अनर्थ हो जाएगा if I say कि I want to shit here. So what is the meaning of shit and what is the meaning of sit? So important thing is कि exposure, teachers they should have good pronunciation. Pronunciation means कि impact of mother tongue, it should be reduced. If they have got this kind of sir, sha kind of impact, so they should try to reduce the impact. So if they have got faulty pronunciation, students they will also speak the same way. So I have seen many teachers, भाई सैलरी नहीं आ रखी है तो कहाँ जा रहा हूँ, ट्रेजरी में जा रहा हूँ. ट्रेजेडी जाना है, सैलरी नहीं आ रखी है, तो ट्रेजरी जा रहे हैं कि ट्रेजेडी में जा रहे हैं। इन द सेम वे ऐसे कई सारे कि वहां पे अलाउंस हो रहा था, अलाउंस हो रहा था, अलाउंस, अनाउंस नहीं हो रहा था, अलाउंस, है ना, इस तरीके का। इंक्रीजमेंट नहीं लगा है, इंक्रीजमेंट। और कई सारे शब्दों को हम वैसे ही गलत बोल रहे होते हैं, लाइक ओनियन, इट इज नॉट ओनियन, इट इज अनियन। आलमंड नहीं है, आमंड्स। ऐसे कई सारे वर्ड्स हैं। जब मैंने कहा कि इन इंग्लिश वी हैव गॉट 44 साउंड्स बट 26 लेटर्स, तो यू जस्ट टेक 3 वर्ड्स, KIT, second word is KITE, and third word is BIRD. KIT, KITE and BIRD. You just compare the sound of I in these 3 words, KIT, KITE and BIRD. तो KIT में I is giving E sound, it is kit, E sound दे रहा है ना, kit. In KITE it is giving I, floating sound, I sound, it is diphthong. From A to I the sound is floating. और BIRD में I is giving a sound, bird. That is why English language is a language of confusions. English language has become a language of confusion only because of this, because the sound pattern of English language, it is altogether different from the sound pattern of Hindi. In Hindi, we have got same quantity of letters and same quantity of sounds. जितने वर्ण हैं उतनी ही ध्वनियां भी हैं. What is the difference between word and dhwani? What is the difference between letter and sound? अच्छा, one very important thing, हम कहते हैं ना A alphabet, B alphabet. No, this is wrong. Alphabet means from A to Z. That is alphabet. There are 26 letters in that alphabet. Alphabet का means A alphabet, B alphabet नहीं होता है. Alphabet means from A to Z. And A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, these are letters. And the difference between letters and sound is कि when we give it a concrete shape, it becomes letter. Otherwise, it is a sound. If I say a sound, so a is a sound. But when I give it a picture, when I give it a shape, like in Hindi, a, e, so these are sounds. And the relationship between, music and language is like this. Okay, in language, we have got sounds. In music, also we have got sounds. Music में वो जो हमारे 7 स्वर होते हैं, उन 7 स्वरों से ही सा रे ग म प ध नि सा नि ध प म ग रे स, ये अपने में शुद्ध स्वर है. लेकिन जब हम इनका स्थान बदल देते हैं, नी रे ग ग ग ग ग ग ग ग, नी रे स स स स स स स स, ग म प प प प प प प प, म ग रे 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 रे, नी रे स स स स स स स स, प प प म म म ग ग ग रे रे, नी रे सा, प प प म म म ग ग ग रे रे, नी रे सा. ये अपने आप में स्वर का हमने स्थान बदल दिया. तो अपने आप में the harmony of these sounds becomes music. इन्हीं साउंड्स के बीच में जब इस ढंग की हार्मनी डेवलप होती है तो वो म्यूजिक बन जाता है. और इन्हीं साउंड्स को मिलाकर जब हम कर रहे होते हैं तो लैंग्वेज भी बन जाती है. और इंपॉर्टेंट होता है लैंग्वेज के साथ में कि there are many words in English. We have got those words have got very confusing pronunciation. Like there is a word DEBUT. DEBUT. तो देखने में तो लगता है कि DUBT डेब्यूट या डेबर्ट क्या होगा, बट द प्रोनाउंसिएशन इज डेब्यू. डेब्यू करना, किसी चीज से शुरुआत करना, तो डेब्यू. लाइक MIDAS बोलते ना, मिडास टच. मिडास टच, इट इज नॉट मिडास टच, इट इज माइडस टच. किसी चीज को फिनिशिंग टच देना तो इट इज माइडस टच. MIDAS. So in English the word is many a times the word is not pronounced the same way it is written. In Hindi the word is pronounced the same way as it is written. तो ये एक बहुत बड़ा कंफ्यूजन कई बार हो रहा होता है. तो इसके लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है कि वी शुड गिव मैक्सिमम एक्सपोजर to our students. First of all, teachers, they should have got exposure of English language. So if they have got good listening, if they have got good pronunciation, so obviously they will develop the same habit among students. If they have been pronouncing or the words incorrectly or with faulty pronunciation, तो वो जो हमें मालूम है नटूरे फुटूरे है ना, मटूरे वाला किस्सा, तो कई बार वो भी हो रहा होता है. ऐसा कई बार हो रहा होता है, तो इससे हमें बचने की जरूरत है. तो नॉट ओनली क्वांटिटी वाइज बट ऑल्सो क्वालिटी वाइज एक्सपोजर, जो हमारा एक्सपोजर ठीक होना चाहिए. ये मैंने पहला बोला था E. देयर आर 4 स्टेप्स ना. E फॉर एक्सपोजर, M फॉर मोटिवेशन. Teacher motivation is important and student motivation is also important. If I ask someone what is your name and the child is saying my name Vimal, he is not able to say a complete sentence that my name is Vimal. And if I say no, my name is Vimal, you should say like this. So this is not encouraging tone, this is not a motivating tone, this is a demotivating tone. So what I can do, if I say what is your name, my name Vimal, yes, very good, my name is Vimal. So I am trying to rectify his mistake, but in a motivating manner. So motivation is very important. First of all, teachers they should have motivation to speak this language, to experiment, to explore this language, and then from teachers, students, what Aristotle has said ना, अरिस्टो ने कहा था कि imitation is the fundamental human faculty. Everybody imitates, someone. कोई ना कोई किसी ना किसी को कॉपी कर रहा होता है. जैसे मैं कहूँ कि all the English lecturers of diet, most of the lecturers of diet, so they try to imitate Hemu sir. So he is a role model for all of us. तो उनसे बहुत सारी चीजें हम लोग सीख रहे होते हैं, उनसे बहुत सारी चीजों को हम लोग ग्रैस्प कर रहे होते हैं. तो ठीक उसी ढंग से क्या है कि बच्चे के लिए रोल मॉडल है, फॉर स्टूडेंट्स देयर टीचर, ही इज द रोल मॉडल. एंड द वे टीचर्स हैव बीन स्पीकिंग, स्टूडेंट्स दे आल्सो स्पीक द सेम वे. तो एक्सपोजर, देन कम्स मोटिवेशन, देन कम्स रिपीटेशन. रिपीटेशन मीन्स कि द आइडियाज, द सेंटेंसेस, द स्ट्रक्चर्स which I have used today, I should use those structures, those sentences tomorrow as well. Not only tomorrow, and for the upcoming days as well. And apart from those structures, some new structures they should be introduced. वो sentence भी बोलूं मैं, वो structures भी बोलूं meaningfully in a particular context. जब भी आप बोले तो context is very important. If context is missing, तो then it becomes all Greek and Latin. English में एक phrase है ना, all Greek and Latin, माने कुछ भी समझ में ना आए. तो बच्चों के साथ में whenever we want to introduce, when we want to improve the communication skill of students, so we should create the real life situation in our classroom. If you go to the Spoken English Institute, what actually they have been doing, they also have been doing the same practice. They are also following the same pattern. कौन सा पैटर्न की creating situations, situationally, contextually we have to use language. If you are going to market, what are the vocabulary, what are the different sentences, what may be the ways, what may be the structures, what may be the sentences which we frequently use during some kind of purchasing in market, if you are going to some kind of zoo or in some museum, so what are the different structures which are generally used there? So these are things, these are important things which we can apply, which we can deploy, and which we should familiarize, which we should internalize. First of all, we should internalize, and then we must introduce all those things in our respective classrooms. And the last one is practice. So practice is very important. When I say practice, we know there are two kinds of subjects. Mishra sir, is it okay? Hemu sir, is it okay? मतलब बात जा रही है ना, वैसा तो नहीं हो रहा है कि मैं यहाँ से बस कथा पढ़ने में लगा हुआ हूँ.
It's okay, sir.
जी.
Good presentation, sir.
So actually PPT डेवलप की हुई थी, लेकिन अब since I am not able to present through PPT, तो जो भी दिमाग में आ रहा है वही कह दे रहा हूँ.
Very good, sir.
There are two kinds of subjects. It is very important to understand the nature of subject. Very important to understand the nature of subject. Why it is important to understand nature of subject? Because if we are familiar with the nature of that particular subject, we will be able to teach it efficiently. We will be able to transact or very effectively, very efficiently in our classroom. So what happens? There are two kinds of subjects. One is content based and another one is skill based or practice based. Like history, geography, all these subjects, they are content based subject. For content based subjects, I'm using a word content. The word is C-O-N-T-E-N-T. So what should be the pronunciation? Is it whether it should be content or content? Content or content? So actually both the pronunciation are correct. Content and content, but in two different contexts. When we had been collecting different kind of resource material and developing different kind of resource material for the students of BTC 2010-12. So our resource person, Hemu Bizji, they provided us a dictionary, a software, Collins co-built dictionary. So from that dictionary, I came to know for the first time the same spelling, but giving two different pronunciation in two different contexts. When I say C-O-N-T-E-N-T content, so it means subject matter, the content of this book. But when I say C-O-N-T-E-N-T content, so it becomes satisfaction. I am feeling contented. I am feeling contented. Content and content. Content means satisfaction, content means विषय वस्तु. इस तरीके से. So what I was saying and what I am trying to say is कि content based subject, for content based subject, the information is the source of knowledge. We should try to accumulate, we should try to gather, we should try to compile as much information as we may. If I want to teach history or if I want to learn history, so it is important that मेरे पास बिल्कुल जुबानी मेरे को याद होना चाहिए कि किसने कब से कब तक शासन किया और कौन कहाँ का राजा था. तो these are information. This kind of collection of information is very important. So it means information is the source of knowledge for content based subjects. Another one is practice based subject, skill based subject. Language, mathematics, these are skill based subjects. If I try to drive a car just by reading a book, so what would happen? What could be the possibility? From one side, I have opened a book and I am reading that book, and I am side by side I am trying to drive a car. It can be very dangerous for me. We can't drive. Somebody has written we can't drive. Not only can't drive, it may cause some serious accident also. So it may become accidental. So cooking cannot be learned by reading a book. History or geography, they can be learned by going through books. So like cooking can be learned only by cooking chapatis. Driving can be learned only by driving a car or a scooter. Swimming can be learned only by swimming. In the same way, language or speaking can be learned only by speaking a language. गलती कहाँ पर होती है? So the mistake on our part is when we have been trying to teach language or skill-based subject, any skill-based subject, like a content-based subject. So what happens? The students, they get demotivated because it hampers the pace of learning. इंग्लिश को जब हम एक किताब की तरह एक सब्जेक्ट, ये भी एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट इशू है, टीचिंग इंग्लिश एज अ सब्जेक्ट और टीचिंग इंग्लिश एज अ लैंग्वेज. सो इफ वी हैव ए ब्रॉड स्पेक्ट्रम, तो हमें सोचना चाहिए कि वी शुड ट्राई टू टीच इंग्लिश नॉट एज अ सब्जेक्ट बट एज अ लैंग्वेज. तो कंटेंट बेस्ड सब्जेक्ट और प्रैक्टिस बेस्ड में यही इंपॉर्टेंट है कि इन कंटेंट बेस्ड सब्जेक्ट इंफॉर्मेशन इज द सोर्स ऑफ नॉलेज, बट इन प्रैक्टिस बेस्ड सब्जेक्ट, स्किल बेस्ड सब्जेक्ट, practice is the source of knowledge. The more you practice, the more you learn. Practice makes a man perfect, but this is not right. Practice not only makes a man perfect, practice makes women also perfect. Practice makes the things permanent also. So the more we practice, the more we learn English language. So it is important that we should have more and more practice of communication, more and more habit of. And somebody has rightly said कि character is not ready-made. It is built bit by bit and day by day. Habit is also not ready-made. It is built bit by bit and day by day. It is very important we should develop the habit of using English language. So if we want to promote English language or English communication, it is very important. First of all, we have to cultivate, we have to develop this habit of using English language in my day-to-day communication. और मेरे से फिर वो चीजें क्या होंगी? Transfer of learning from me to my students. वही चीजें टीचर से स्टूडेंट की तरफ भी शिफ्ट हो रही होंगी. सो इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट वी शुड हैव ए क्रिस्टल क्लियर आइडिया ऑफ कंटेंट बेस्ड सब्जेक्ट एंड skill based subject. English is, or all the languages, they are skill based subjects. If they are skill based subject, so for skill, practice is important. Practice of what? Practice of listening, practice of speaking, practice of reading, practice of writing. And as I had told you earlier, listening is input, speaking is output. Reading also improvise. It also enriches our pronunciation. How? Because through reading we learn pitch, we learn stress, we learn voice modulation, we learn pronunciation. All these things, they are essential components of speaking. बोलते समय ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण चीजें होती है कि we don't speak flatly. जब हम बोल रहे होते हैं तो we have some kind of rising and falling tone, rising tone and falling tone. तो ये सब हमारे साथ हो रहा होता है. वर्ड्स को किस ढंग से हमें प्रोनाउंस करना है. All these things we learn through reading. So reading also enriches our speaking. And one very important thing is, which is called across the curriculum approach or multidisciplinary approach. While language is one of the most prominent subjects, I would say most important subject is language. And why it is most important? Because through language we learn all the subjects. Through language we learn all the subjects. If there is no language, so can we learn social sciences? Can we learn mathematics? Mathematics is also language. You know, mathematics is also language. How mathematics is language? Mathematics is called numeric language. In language, letters, alphabet, words, they communicate something. But in mathematics, numbers or symbols or signs, they communicate. Sorry. So mathematics is known as numeric language, number language. Numbers communicate. Like in language, words communicate. In mathematics, symbols, signs. Like 7, बीच में symbol लगाया 6. So 7 is greater than 6. 5, symbol लगाया 7. 5 is smaller than 7. So those symbols, those signs, they have been communicating. So that is also language. So what my point of concern is, or what I wanted to say is, we learn all the subjects through language, and from all the subjects, what we learn is language. If I have been learning EVS, so from EVS, I have grasped, I have learned some new vocabulary, like biotic, abiotic, ecosystem. If I have been learning mathematics, so new words, greater than, smaller than, addition, subtraction, multiplication. If I have been learning history, so history, it means reign, emperor. ऐसे बहुत सारे शब्द जो है, शब्दावली जो है, we have been learning through different subjects. This is called multidisciplinary approach. One scholar has very rightly said, a language is learned best when there is no conscious effort to teach it and there is no conscious effort to learn it. जैसे मैं आपसे कहूं कि चलिए भाई, आज मैं आपको इंग्लिश प्रोनाउंसिएशन सिखाऊंगा, आज हम इंग्लिश कम्युनिकेशन सीखेंगे, तो ये कहने से ही क्या होता है, एटमॉस्फेयर बिकम्स वेरी फॉर्मल, एंड द फॉर्मल एटमॉस्फेयर it is a source of fear. It is a cause of fear. So out of fear, I cannot perform, or I cannot give my best. लेकिन क्या है कि मैंने आपसे कोई बात भी कर ली, आपको कुछ सिखा भी दिया, और ये भी नहीं कहा कि हम ये सीखने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. So when there is no conscious effort to teach it and there is no conscious effort to learn it, that is why many a times a language is learnt least in language class, and many a times a language is learnt most in other classes, in EVS class or in mathematics class or in science class. So students, they have been learning, not consciously, sometimes unconsciously. When we say communication, so communication has two important segments, or two important parts, two important components. One is verbal communication and another one is non-verbal communication. Verbal means the words I have been using, the sentences I have been using, that is called verbal part of my communication. जिन शब्दों के माध्यम से जो मैं communicate कर रहा हूं, so that is called verbal communication. Second one is non-verbal. Non-verbal means कि when I say or when I speak something, when I want to communicate, so I don't speak simple sentences, normal sentences. Along with sentences, my body language, the role of my fingers, my facial expression, these things, they play a vital role. Yeah, they play a vital role in communication. जो मैं बोल रहा हूं ये तो है वर्बल कम्युनिकेशन, जो मेरी बॉडी साथ साथ में मेरी बॉडी लैंग्वेज जो कह रही है, दैट इज कॉल्ड नॉन वर्बल कम्युनिकेशन. एंड verbal communication is governed by conscious part of our brain. While non-verbal communication is governed by subconscious part of our brain. If you face an interview, so what happens जब हम किसी इंटरव्यू को फेस कर रहे होते हैं, तो you might have seen if there are 4 or 5 panelists, so 1 or 2 sometimes they don't ask you any question. Okay, they simply observe your personality, they simply observe you. So basically what they have been trying to observe, they have been trying to observe the non-verbal part of your communication. और non-verbal बहुत important होता है. non-verbal इसलिए important होता है, if I have a habit of using abusive words, कुछ जैसे बीच में कोई बोलते बोलते साले या ऐसे कोई शब्द बोल देता है, लेकिन वो ठीक ठाक जगह पर अगर होगा तो he will try to be polished, he will try to conceal all such kind of things. But the subconscious part, ये जो subconscious से govern होना है non-verbal, कि you might have seen some people कि वो बोलते बोलते अचानक उनको क्या होता है कि जैसे वो खुजाना शुरू कर देंगे आपसे बातचीत करते करते, या क्या होंगे आई कॉन्टैक्ट ठीक से नहीं होगा, ढंग से आई कॉन्टैक्ट नहीं है, ठीक तरीके से नहीं देख रहे हैं. आई कॉन्टैक्ट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. आई कॉन्टैक्ट के बारे में एक इंपॉर्टेंट बात यह है कि इफ यू हैव बीन टॉकिंग टू अ फीमेल फ्रेंड और अ फीमेल कंपेनियन इन योर ऑफिस, तो 8 सेकेंड 8 सेकेंड से ज्यादा देखना, तो इट बिकम्स अ पार्ट ऑफ घूरना, वो घूरने की श्रेणी में आता है. इसलिए ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है कि आप किस तरीके से ऑफ पैनलिस्ट हु हैव बीन ट्राइंग टू ऑब्जर्व यू, तो वो मेक ए एक्यूरेट assessment of your personality with the help of that non-verbal communication. So we need to work upon our verbal communication, but at the same time we should try to improvise, we should try to improve, we should try to refine the non-verbal part of communication also. Non-verbal is very very important. Non-verbal में हमें कोशिश करनी चाहिए, जैसे कई लोग क्या बोलते हैं कि शीशे के सामने खड़े होकर कोशिश करना या कुछ और करना, तो वो नॉन वर्बल पे काम कर रहे होते हैं. अलॉन्ग विद वर्बल वी शुड वर्क ऑन नॉन वर्बल ऑल्सो. सो मैं यहाँ पर कुछ एक क्विज भी साथ में लेकर यहाँ पर आया था, लेकिन अभी वो डिस्प्ले नहीं हो पा रही है. सो देयर आर, इसमें कुछ वर्ड्स थे, आई हैड कलेक्टेड अ फ्यू वर्ड्स, लेकिन अब वो यहाँ पर हो नहीं पा रहा है. मैं ग्रुप में शेयर करूंगा, तो उसको करने की कोशिश करेंगे आप लोग. Do I have some time left or not?
Yes, sir.
Online.
Take your time, sir.
Okay. So ये कुछ वर्ड्स हैं. जैसे एक वर्ड है एच डैश डैश यू आर डैश डैश ई, एंड कंडीशन इज हमारे जो फर्स्ट ब्लैंक में, फर्स्ट 2 ब्लैंक्स में भरे जाएंगे, बाद के 2 ब्लैंक्स में भी वही भरे जाएंगे. तो वी हैव टू फिल पेयर ऑफ लेटर्स लाइक एस डैश डैश यू आर डैश डैश ई. सो एस ए टी अगर हम पहले में भर दें और ए टी ही अगर हम बाद में भी भरे, तो हमारे पास वर्ड आता है एस ए टी यू आर ए टी saturate. So in the same way, there is a word dash dash I dash 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 I dash dash. अगर यहाँ पर हम ON भर दें, ONION, we get a word onion. तो ऐसे कई सारे वर्ड्स भरे जा सकते हैं, कई इस ढंग की चीजें, and all such kind of things. These are very entertaining. These are very entertaining, not only for teachers but also for creating the interest of learners. Puzzles, riddles. एक पोएम भी मैं यहाँ पर लेकर रखा था साउंड्स ऑफ लेटर्स के बारे में, लेकिन अभी फिलहाल वो प्रेजेंट नहीं हो पा रहा है, होगा तो फिर देखेंगे उसको कभी. ऐसे एक वर्ड है, आपको बनाना है V dash dash LAT dash dash N C dash dash DITI dash dash. ऐसे इन वर्ड्स को बनाने की कोशिश करेंगे, और भी कई सारे वर्ड्स हैं. So I would like to conclude the session with these words. Communication or language is a very special feature which is given by God only to human beings. So language is a very special gift of God only to human beings. It is, only through language we may differentiate literate, not literate, educated and uneducated person. Okay, so if language is such an important gift of God, so it means every day we should try to evolve. Every day we should try to improve. Every day we should try to refine our language. This is very, very important. We should try to work on our language part. Now Uttarkashi district has it has always been a very special district, and it has always been very close to my heart, and it has again become, there is another reason, because my close friend, my dear brother, and a real gem of a person, Mr. Hemu Bizji, now he has also joined Diet Barkot. So all of us and all of you are very fortunate. And Dr.Shakti Dhar Mishra sir, he has always been very friendly and very nice mannered person. So I would like to pay my very sincere thanks to all these guys. They have given me this opportunity to interact with the teachers of Uttarkashi, and my very sincere thanks and to all the participants who have been listening to me in spite of all these technical glitches. So over to Mishra sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. If someone has some query or needs some clarification, you may ask from Dr. Kishore. अगर किसी शिक्षा की कोई सवाल हो तो आप पूछ सकते हैं. किसी का कोई है? Sir, despite of many technical glitches, you made a very good presentation. I am very grateful and thankful to you. It is your greatness, sir, that you are saying that I am a kind person. So I am very thanks. Now I request Hemu sir to come and give thanks to Dr. Vimal Kishore sir. Sir, please.
Thank you, Mishra sir. Thank you so much.
Sir, it is always a privilege to talk to you and to listen to you, and I'm fortunate enough to have you almost for an hour, and I too was enlightened in many ways. So looking forward for more synergies in coming days. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Hemu sir, and your words, they really mean a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Namaskar, sir. Thanks.
I now thanks all the participants, all the teachers of the district Uttarkashi joined us online. So I am sure that they must have been benefited by the lecture. So thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Kishore, for a
Thank you, sir. Namaste.
valuable presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.